Hello, welcome to Blue and Red Meeple Board Games. My name is Jenny, and today we're going to talk about travel games, specifically those that you can play on an airplane. The first game I'm going to talk about is Town 66, which is from Oink Games. One thing I love about all of their games is they all come in this nice, small, travel-sized box. This is one of the only Oink games that I know that you can play solo. So if anyone else knows of any that you can, please let me know because I would love to hear about it. All right, so it's a very compact game, obviously. You can see it all fits into this game. We've got a bunch of these different tiles. They come in 6 different colors and there are 6 different shapes. So basically what we're going to be doing is changing this monochromatic town into a very colorful town with little diverse different roof types and shapes. So there are colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And then there are different shapes. The roofs, you can see they've got double peaks, rounded peaks. This is my favorite one. It reminds me of the hamburger helper guy on the box. Single peaks and then what looks like a floppy disk. So what you're going to be doing is creating a 6x6 grid. The placement rules are that you cannot have the same color or shape in a column or row. So it sounds kind of simple, but there really is a lot of strategy in that you do need to plan ahead, because you might come up on a row and then suddenly you realize that all you have left to place are red and blue. But if you lay in this row, there's already a blue, so this one has to be red. So you have to be careful that you make sure you leave an opening so that you can lay the red one there. It's a great little game. I have not won it yet. I've come fairly close, but I don't know. It must be possible to win, but if anyone has won, bravo to you, because it is really difficult. So it seems like it's a simple little concept, kind of a puzzly little game, but there really is quite a bit of strategy. You really have to pay attention to what you're doing. This one you can also play multiplayer, and you could do that on an airplane as well. Each player would keep their pieces. They have one of these nice little holders, kind of like Scrabble pieces. In multiplayer, you'd put all the pieces into a bag and you'd be drawing them. But when I play solo, you just have them in stacks and draw them out. You'll always have 3 to choose from. If you ever have 3 and you cannot lay them, you can flip them to the opposite side, which just will have the color. So you can see this is orange and orange. So twice during the game, you could just lay a color as a wild color. You still have the same placement rules, so you couldn't have 2 of the same color in a row, but then you don't have to worry about the shape. So that's a nice little bonus that I believe is only available in solo play. So that is Town 66. Again, it's great because it really is small. You can play it, I mean, if I can play it in an airplane, I don't know what's much smaller than that. Town 66 Oink Games. The next game that we're going to talk about is Orchard. Just move this one over to the side. Orchard. So Orchard is a nice little solitaire game. It's a 9-card solitaire game by Mark Tuck. Grove is another one in the series, and there's a third Forage, which is out on Kickstarter right now, so I'm looking forward to that one. So it's a 9-card solitaire game, so it comes with double that. So whenever you shuffle out your 9 cards, you'll always have another 9 ready, so you can immediately play a second game, which is really nice. Quick and easy, 2 games. So in Orchard, let me move that over here so it's out of the way. These are the 9 cards. In this game, they have 3 different tree types. There'll be plum trees, apple trees, and pear trees. So you can see there are dice in the corresponding colors according to the fruit. You'll start with the first card, you'll lay it down. And then what you're going to be doing is trying to match as many of the different colored fruit trees and overlapping the same ones to get more points. So in this example, let's see, I've got, I could do not very much. Here, I could overlap the red and the yellow. So if this was my starting card, and you can lay them in any position, they don't all have to go the same position. So if here I would lay the yellow over the blue, then what I would do is I would take a red die on number 1, place it on top, and then a number 1 on top of the yellow. Every time you overlap, you get to rotate the die to the next number. So it would go from, let's see, we've got up to 6. Actually, there's not up to 6. There's 2 missing, but the highest you can get is 10. And you do have an option. Once in a while, it might be beneficial to overlap one that doesn't match. You can do that twice with this rotten fruit tokens that you have. The only downside to laying on spaces that don't match is that it's a -3 points for each of the rotten fruit. So anyway, you'll be laying your 9 cards. Once you've got them all out, you just add up the score on your dice, and that is your final score. So nice, quick, and easy Orchard. Next, Grove. Grove is very similar, same concept, exact same thing. You've got your cards, you deal out 9, and then you'll have a second game ready to go as soon as you finish those. In this game, it's citrus fruits. So you've got lemons, limes, and oranges, and the corresponding dice. The difference with this game, there's a couple of differences, but the big one is on the backs of the cards, there are recipe cards with numbers on the top, and they'll give you different bonuses. So you will randomly select 2 to play in a game. So like in this case, the orange Jelly-O, you have to have at least 1 orange die that has a value of exactly 6. So if you have at least 1 with a 6, you get a bonus of 6 points. If you got the lemon curd bonus, if you played a lemon yellow die in your first turn, you would get a bonus of 1 point. So you're playing the same way. You're going to lay down your starter card. You're going to try to overlap, matching them up. In this case, oh, perfect. So here, if I did this, I could lay the lemon on top of the lemon. So the difference in scoring here with these dice, instead of just putting a number 1 die and then a number 1 die here, I have a total of 4 lemons and 3 limes. So I would lay a number 4 die and a number 3 die. So this one is definitely going to have higher score, but you're going to need a higher score because what you're going to do is you're going to add up the 2 points on your bonus cards if you use them, and you don't have to use them. But if you do, then that's the target score. So you want to either match or beat that score. So unlike Orchard, where you're just trying to beat your highest score every time you play, this one sort of gives you a target, which I like. So it's not always just trying to beat your score, or So I don't ever write down to remember what I got to see if I beat it the next time. So it makes it a little bit. There's a little bit of variety in this one just because you have all of the different recipe cards. But again, very similar to the other game. Now this one does also have a little wheelbarrow token with a 15 on it. So if you ever got to a 10, that's the max on the dice for both games. You do have a one time you can remove that die and put a wheelbarrow on it, which is worth 15 points. And then there is a squirrel who does the same thing as the rotten fruit. So if you want to overlap something that doesn't match, you can do that one time. But this time, the penalty that you get, it's 1 point for the squirrel and then 1 point for each adjacent tree. So it could add up to quite a bit depending on how you have it laid down. But again, sometimes it is to your benefit to take the negative points if you can get more points in the end. So that is Grove. And the last game I'm going to talk about is Palm Island. Now this is a game, it comes with this nice handy dandy little wallet, which I love. So again, even though it comes in this really small little box, and you can see how thin it is, you can make it even smaller by putting it into the wallet. And it does come with a second set of matching cards, just in a different color. So technically it is multiplayer, but I wouldn't call it a multiplayer game because you're both playing your own hand of cards, and all you do at the end is try to see who has the highest score. So multiplayer, but solo. The difference with this and the other two, these are all nice and small. They'll definitely fit on the tray you have on your on an airplane. This one, you don't even need a tray. This one, you keep it in your hand completely, which is kind of crazy. So you'll play this game over 8 rounds, and it comes with this really handy little card. You can see it's got the 1 and the 2. You've got your 3 and your 4, and then it's got 5, 6, and 7 and 8. So you'll have this on the back of your deck. So we'll say I've played a couple of rounds, so we'll put 3 there. So as you're going through the deck, you're going to at some point, you're going to come to this one and you'll know that that round is done. So then you'll flip the card over, get your cards ready again, and start the next round. And so when you can't come to the number 8, you know that that's it, and it's time to score. So basically, the cards are going to have resources. You can see there are things like this has logs, there are fish, there are stones. So you're going to be going through the deck, getting resources in order to upgrade your cards. Upgrading your cards is going to give you better resources, and then in the end, they'll get you bonus or points for at the end of the game. This game, each game continues on as you play it. So if you meet a certain score, there are special cards in the deck that you can acquire, and then they'll be permanently in your deck. So every time you play it, you'll get that card. And then if you meet the next requirement, there might be another card that you can throw in there permanently. So there are going to be different little action symbols on the cards, which will tell you how you can use them, what you have to pay to get them. So in this case, there's a green circle with an arrow. So if you just go down like this, you have a log. So because you're playing this in your hand, you're going to kind of keep the cards. You use your fingers to kind of separate different things. So you'll have your resources out here. So you can see I have a log and a fish. For this card, I could flip it to the other side by paying a log and a fish. So if I do that, then I just put those on the end. I've used them. I'd flip the card over, and now this card, instead of being worth nothing, the next time it comes through the deck, I will have a log and a fish that I can use for this card. So when you start, you can see there's this white symbol in the corner that tells you what orientation the card needs to be in. So as you go around, you're going to be turning them different directions, flipping them over to get different resources and to get bonus points. So like for this card, it starts out like this. Eventually, if I get to this point, it's going to be worth 1 point at the end of the game. They're going to get to be better and better and better the more that you get. And basically, you're just playing through the card to try and get the most victory points that you can. There can be some hard decisions. You always have 2 cards to choose from. You could keep holding on to one because you think, oh, I just need to get this one. But you do have to kind of think about, once you get through those cards, you cycle through it, then you start over again. So you have to make sure, you have to kind of keep track of what you have used, and decide, is it worth skipping these good cards just to see if I can get one so I can get a better card? But it's a really fun game. It's quick and easy. And again, it's great because you just keep it in your hand. And I've played it where I haven't had a table or anything that I can, put some things down, and I just, kind of put them on my lap. But in this game, you don't even have to worry about that much. So like this is one of those bonus cards that I've gotten. So it's a permanent part of my deck. And basically, I can use it once per game. If I use it, I have one of each of the 3 resources, which is really nice. There is a limit to the number of resources that you can carry, so you do have to pay attention to that. And if you have too many, you will have to discard them to the back of the card or back of the deck. Anyway, Palm Island, another really great game. And I should mention that one is by Portal Dragon. All right, so these are 4 games that I always bring with me when I travel, especially on an airplane. I'll play them on, sometimes when you're in an airport, there's a little table between chairs. I'll play them on there. But it's so nice because the boxes are so small, as you can see. Tiny boxes. They fit into my seat tray. They play really quick. I can play each of these 15 minutes or less. It depends on how the game goes. But I'd say, sometimes maybe even 10. And if I'm doing really bad, even less than that. But they're quick to play, and they're really quick to clean up. So if you had to, for some reason, put up your, get your seat back in its upright position and put your tray away, you could quickly put it away so you wouldn't have to worry about, packing up anything major. So those are 4 games that I would recommend checking out if you are planning on a trip anytime soon, or you're going on an airplane. And I did just want to mention one more thing. One thing that I carry with me wherever I go is always just a regular deck of cards. There are quite a few solitaire games that you can play that will fit just on your little tray table. So that's another thing that I always bring with me wherever I go, and I would recommend that as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really look forward to talking to you again. And until I guess until next time, keep playing games. Bye.